Welcome in for another edition of the Morning Espresso on the SDH Network, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Welcome back to the Morning Espresso. It's been a little hectic as of late on the travel front. Tuesday afternoon, went to Austin, Texas, 100 degrees on the ground in Austin. Wednesday, there with Atlanta United, a 1-1 draw, flew back overnight. Landed at about 4 a.m. So no espresso yesterday. I was sleeping during the espresso, slept right through espresso, slept right past any need for espresso, and then had Georgia High School state championships last night up in Duluth. We'll talk about that in this edition, along with a whole bunch of other things. But we're back on the normal schedule as you get ready for a home game on Saturday. Atlanta United hosting the Philadelphia Union. It's part of rivalry week in MLS, and I don't know if the league necessarily considers Atlanta Philly a rivalry. I know I do, and I know quite a few others do, as Atlanta and Philly have had some interesting matchups over the last few years. Philly trailed the LA Galaxy 2-0 on Wednesday before coming back to win 3-2 on a goal from Tai Baribo, his second of the day. It's a 7:40 kickoff at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 6:30 for your pregame on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app with Abe Gordon and Madison Crews. The weekend starts with Montreal hosting Toronto at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. Eastern Conference leaders Cincinnati, they travel to Ohio rivals Columbus. The hell is real derby. 7:15 on Saturday night. Portland hosts Seattle Saturday night as well. That's a 9:30 start Eastern time. And a great Sunday doubleheader that I'm looking forward to. Miami hosting Orlando at 7 o'clock, followed by El Trafico. Let me know if you like the El Trafico name. I know some people love it. I'm not a big fan. I think it's kind of silly, but it works for the LA Galaxy and LAFC. That's a 9 p.m. kick for a doubleheader of Sunday night soccer on Apple TV and MLS Season Pass. Some other news around the league. Jordi Alba has signed a new contract at Inter Miami through the 2027 MLS season. He will be a designated player, and could this mean Senor Messi and maybe Senor Busquets and maybe Senor Suarez are going to sign new deals? Now, there's a lot of talk about Luis Suarez, who has struggled this season, missed a game due to a friend's wedding in Spain. People are starting to get bent out of shape. The tabloids are starting to really get going in Miami talking about these things. Suarez would seem to be the most unlikely, along with Busquets. But Lionel Messi, new contract in Miami. Lots of talk about this worldwide, so stay tuned. Training ground dispatch later today from Marietta, the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground, as Ronnie Dyla and Saba Lobjaniza will speak to the media. Barcelona, they won their 28th La Liga title yesterday. Lamine Yamal scored another stunning goal because this is what the guy does. Derby win over Espanyol. The 17-year-old, he's still not 18 years old. Yamal curled a fantastic shot into the top left corner from the edge of the box. It's becoming the Lamine Yamal goal where he cuts in on the left foot and goes to goal. He does it again. It's a treble for Barcelona. They had already won the Supercopa de España and the Copa del Rey, and now La Liga. Now, because it's Barcelona, there are other conversations going on, and one of them is about their salary limit for next season, because their salary limit for this season has been a conversation all year long, and it's still kind of unknown as to how they actually got Pau Victor and Dani Olmo under the salary limit, outside of appealing to the Spanish courts and getting an injunction and getting a stay and all this stuff, because the 100 million euro lease of VIP seats that supposedly gave them the ability to register those two players in the midseason, because there were only 6-month registrations before that. That's not completely and utterly done yet. So I don't know how they got to play in the second half of the season outside of the courts. We'll see if anything comes back because of all that. It would not surprise me. This is Spanish football after all. But that 100 million euro sale is still part of the conversation about what Barcelona could do for next season. So auditors Crow decided that they could not include the 100 million euro lease of 475 VIP seats for 30 years in this year's accounts, which again gave them the ability to register Dani Olmo and Pau Victor, at least allegedly. They couldn't include it, but they did include it because they had an auditor who worked for 4 days It's crazy. I don't know how this is actually going to be upheld that these two guys should have been able to play. So now you're trying to figure out, like, can you get this sale done to help you for next season when it already helped you this season? So it's going to help you twice. I don't know. Barcelona are trying to get this done to be in place for the next fiscal year at the end of June. They want to have the renovated Camp Nou, and I say they want to because it's not confirmed yet because they pushed back the start date for all this stuff many, many times. They want to have it ready for action when it comes to the VIP seats by June to be able to present the New Era Visionary Group, NEVG, and Fortia Advisors, FORTIA, Fortia Advisors, with a receipt for their purchase before the end of their accounting year. So that can, in theory, prove to the auditors named Crow that they have delivered the product, while before they said the deal could not be included as the product did not exist because the stadium is not being used. So, as such, without the 100 million euro deal, Barcelona were back in the red with regard to their salary limit, and they shouldn't have been able to register Pau Victor and Dani Olmo, but they did, and they played. And yes, Forte Advisors have already paid their 30 million euro share for 125 of the 475 seats. NEVG have put up 28 million euro. There's 42 million euro to pay. Their payments were scheduled for September and December, but the Moldovan businessman and convicted fraudster Ruslan Birlodino, he's already secured the commercial agreements necessary, according to folks at Barcelona and the media, and could advance the second payment to this June rather than September. That could aid Barcelona in their bid to prove to the auditors in La Liga that the deal should be included in the accounts. It would not be the end of the matter, again, because this is Spanish football. If the deal is included in Barcelona's audit, La Liga are suspicious over the business links between Barcelona, Forte Advisors, and NEVG. They're investigating all of the deals. The lease is over 30 years. There's a suggestion that La Liga could say the deal has to be pro rata and include the income, divide the income over the length of the deal, which again makes you wonder how Dani Olmo and Pau Victor are playing outside of the court system and why now you're going to get double credit for these sales that are already a little odd. I'll put it that way to be safe. Yeah, just smile and nod and move on. Brilliant on the field, Barcelona, but off the field, questions. Serie A, almost everything is still uncertain heading into the next to last round of matches this weekend. Two teams fighting for the title, six teams trying to avoid relegation, four are vying for the final Champions League spot, another two are still in that mix. All the games this Sunday are kicking off simultaneously, 9:45 p.m. local time. Inter and Napoli are chasing the title. Napoli has a 1 point advantage. They won the title 2 years ago. They had one of the worst title defenses in history. Last year, they went through three managers and they finished 10th. Inter are the defending champions. Antonio Conte went to Napoli and he's brought all kinds of stability to the team. They're looking to make him a manager with three teams that have won Serie A titles. He won it at Inter and he won it three times at Juventus. Napoli goes to Parma, who are trying to avoid relegation on Sunday. Inter hosts fifth placed Lazio. So, if they stay tied through the last two rounds of the season, there will be a playoff. They don't go to goal differential, they don't go to head to head, they go to a playoff. The final round is set for May 24th or 25th. But if it's needed, a playoff game is going to be really difficult to schedule because Inter's in the Champions League final against PSG a week later. Then they have the Club World Cup this summer. One idea that has been pushed to the side for now would be to move Napoli and Inter's final games up to Thursday, freeing Sunday for a potential playoff. Serie A has voted to keep it as it is for now. They have not changed it yet. If Napoli wins and Inter loses, then Napoli wins the title this weekend and we don't have to worry about a playoff. Also in Italy, Bologna, they won the Coppa Italia over Milan this week, their first major trophy since winning the Coppa Italia in 1974. Bologna, Joey Saputo, very, very excited this week. Liga MX playoffs, semifinals right now. Cruz Azul and Club America last night. La Máquina, they won 1-0 to take the advantage. Nacho Rivera's goal won it. Club America manager Andre Jardine was sent off. The other semifinal first leg finished 1-1. Second legs are this weekend. Everton, final game for their men's team at Goodison Park this weekend. The women's team will continue at Goodison Park. The men's team will move to a new stadium at nearby Bramley Moor Dock. This is the final game in the team's home of 133 years. Famous stadium in England as well. More top tier games than any other stadium in England that it has hosted. 1966 World Cup, Pelé was kicked to pieces before losing a World Cup match with Brazil for the only time that he was ever on the field in a loss for Brazil. 8 league titles were won. Several escapes from relegation were completed. Everton have been able to avoid that fate this season, and they will celebrate Goodison Park on Sunday. Club World Cup, let's get caught up on some of the conversation around the tournament that's coming to Atlanta this summer. Angel Di Maria with Benfica, it was expected that he would be part of this, but reports in Portugal, the magazine Record has said that he will not be part of it. That would mean his last match for Benfica would be on May 25th, the Portuguese Cup final against Sporting. He's been a huge part of Benfica this season. 38 games played, 15 goals, 9 assists. He could be heading back to Rosario Central in Argentina, where he started. There's been talk about MLS as well. Miami's name has come up, obviously, because of all the Argentines there, but I don't know how they would make that work. Interesting. I thought he would be part of Benfica in the Club World Cup. Stay tuned. It's just a report at this point. There's reports out of Argentina saying otherwise, so we shall see. Be on the lookout later today on our social media at Soccer Down Here for clips from Jude Bellingham. He spoke to FIFA about Real Madrid's ambitions in the tournament earlier this week. It's a big opportunity for Madrid to start off the Xabi Alonso era right and kind of wash away what's been a disappointing year and start a new era in a big way. Danny Carvajal also spoke to media. He said he's really looking forward to playing teams from the rest of the world in meaningful matches. He's obviously got experience in doing this with Real Madrid, but he's also a big NBA fan. So he's looking forward to being in the U.S. for this event, hoping that the Madridistas will be turning out in big numbers for the tournament. His club, they're trying to get deals done to strengthen this back line right now. Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth and Benfica left back Alvaro Fernandez. They're trying to get those deals over the line for Club World Cup. Inter, they want to add 4 to 5 players ahead of the tournament. One of them that has been identified is Marseille winger Luis Enrique. Trying to get that deal done. Corriere dello Sport has said that the Italians have set a timetable to get this deal done, trying to put some pressure on Marseille. So stay tuned. If you are getting kind of up to speed on the Club World Cup, 32 teams from all over the world. Action kicks off on June 14th in Miami as Inter Miami hosts Al Ahly. First game here in Atlanta is going to be Chelsea against either Club America or LAFC on June 16th. Miami, they make the trip up to play Porto on June 19th. Manchester City will play Al Ain from Abu Dhabi on June 22nd. 3 knockout games here in Atlanta on June 29th, July 1st, July 5th. The final of the tournament will be at MetLife Stadium on July 13th. Tickets are available, FIFA.com/tickets. Also, hospitality packages are available, FIFA.com/hospitality. And there are ticket packages that will get you into the mix for World Cup 2026 tickets. Go check out FIFA.com/tickets. This weekend, the FA Cup final, Crystal Palace versus Manchester City on Saturday at 11:30 Eastern Time. City have won the trophy 7 times. They're unbeaten in their last 7 games against Palace across all competitions. Aggregate score of 18-4 in their last 3 games with Palace in the FA Cup. Expect some goals, though. 11 goals scored across this season's Premier League games between these two teams. Palace have also netted 2 goals in 5 of their last 6 encounters with Manchester City. So it should be a fun one on Saturday at 11:30. The Women's FA Cup final between Chelsea and Manchester United, that is on Sunday as Chelsea tries to add another trophy to the case. And I mentioned it off the top, the Georgia High School finals continue tonight, final day of the 2025 Georgia High School season. In Macon in 2A, it's Pike County on the girls' side facing Savannah Arts. Drew Charter's boys will play Shaw. Madison Crews and I will be in Duluth. 5A, Roswell's girls try to finish the season unbeaten against Northgate. River Ridge's boys face off with Sprayberry. Your finals, your champions so far, single A D1, it was a Floyd County sweep, their first soccer title since 1971. Models girls beat Bremen, and Armucci's boys came back to win 4-3 over Thomasville. Single A D2, Lake Oconee Academy's boys won last night in extra time in Macon over Atkinson County. Atlanta Classical's girls beat LOA in the first match of the day. In the private bracket, Atlanta International's boys, they beat Whitfield Academy on Wednesday. Lovett's girls beat Greater Atlanta Christian in Duluth on Wednesday as well. 3A over at McEachern on Wednesday night. Johnson's boys beat Northwest Whitfield 1-0. Oconee County's girls completed their three-peat, 3 titles in a row. They beat Jefferson in overtime 1-0. 4A, last night, Blessed Trinity's girls 1-0 win over Marist on a great goal from Julie Melhuch. Westminster's boys needed penalties, but they got it done to beat previously unbeaten Marist last night. In 6A over at McEachern, Campbell's boys, they won 1-0 over Grayson. Walton's girls beat previously unbeaten Buford in penalties in the final. So the previously unbeaten teams fell last night. Marist's boys, Walton's girls. We'll see if Roswell can stay unbeaten for the entire season and win a state title tonight. You can watch on the NFHS Network. Madison and I will be in Duluth. Our friend Matteen Rad will be down in Macon. That's going to do it for this edition of the Morning Espresso. We'll be back on Monday to recap the weekend around the world of soccer. Make sure you're following us at Soccer Down here on all our social media platforms. Tons of content coming out all weekend